I'm pleased to announce that there's good news and bad news. And the good news is that there is no world where Justin Trudeau wins the next election here in Canada. The bad news is that we have to wait until the next election. But also some more good news. There's a few more I did not see that coming stickers in stock. But also everywhere Justin Trudeau goes, he gets heckled. And every single day, or if not every single week, and especially around every single weekend, more and more and more of these videos keep surfacing, and I love it. And that's what we're going to take a look at today. We're going to take a look at poll numbers. We're going to take a look at the recent viral Trudeau just getting destroyed right to his face. It's totally awesome. So stick around, hit that like button, check to see if you're subscribed. Why not? Turn post notifications on. It helps fight climate change and gives you 500 social credit points from what I hear. And without further ado, let's get into this video. So it's pretty horrible that the Liberals are so disinterested in their job that they're caught reading the newspaper right here. This is Chrystia Freeland, who is literally reading the newspaper in the middle of question period. And you have a Conservative MP who says there is a time when CBC would have made a news story out of this, dating back to 9 years ago, where a different MP read a newspaper in question period, and that was right on CBC's website. So you're seeing that the mainstream media is trying to shelter Liberal MPs, and it's heartbreaking because you have Canadians that aren't fully tuned into YouTube videos and are only watching mainstream media, and they're being left out of the truth. And there's a clear bias, but that's not enough to win the polls over, because if we look at the updated polls, you're seeing that the Conservatives are projected to win 176 seats, where they only need 170 for a majority. And when we look down to the odds of winning the most seats, they've gone down. Oh no, they've gone down. The Conservatives are losing in the polls. They went from 98% down to 97%. Ah, it's the end of the world. And the likelihood of them getting a majority, the Conservative Party of Canada, is 62%, and a minority is 35%, which means that they are more likely to win a majority government than they are a minority, and even less likely to actually lose the upcoming election. And I don't see a world where Pierre Poilievre can put himself in a position and put the Conservative Party of Canada in a position where they end up losing the next election. You can do blackface at least twice and still be okay and still be ahead in the polls and still be the next Prime Minister of Canada. You can invite a Nazi into Parliament and still be the next Prime Minister of Canada. So he's got a lot of wiggle room, folks, a lot of wiggle room. And it doesn't help that you keep seeing more and more tensions, not just on social media, but in real life. Like, these are, people that are showing up in real life to protest. And it's just crazy. I mean, government protests are happening what seems like every week. That's so obnoxious. You always notice the radical left and people that are ashamed of what they're doing, they're hiding their identity behind masks. And you're just seeing such a rise in left versus right, or, protect children versus indoctrinate children protests happening, or F Trudeau protests and we support Trudeau. Like, it's picking up steam, and it's insane. And well, we're going to take a look at the next clip, which is what you probably clicked on this video for right here. Justin Trudeau gets confronted by a Toronto man saying, "I'm not shaking your hand. You fucked up this entire country." Oh, this is awesome.
Criminal! Thank you for everything you did. Look at this friggin' buck tea, bro. Look at this buck tea.
Hi. Pleasure to see you as well. Hey there, how you doing?
I'm not shaking your hand, bro. You're a fucking piece of shit, man.
Why is that, sir?
You fucked up the entire country. You got our buddy over there.
Yeah, but how did I mess up this country?
Can anybody afford a home in this day? You're charging people carbon tax. You got 9 V8s here idling for 30 minutes. Your carbon
You know what
footprint is
we're doing with
increasing.
that?
We're getting charged for what?
You know what we're doing?
It's
with the
not
carbon
stopping,
tax?
no
We're
car-
putting a price on pollution,
Right.
and we're returning it to families like
I
yours.
don't think so. You're
We
sending
are.
it over
It's
to
a
Ukraine,
car-
right?
No.
Yeah. You send it over to the guy that you were with that slaughtered
You've
his
been-
own country.
You've been listening to Putin, have you?
Putin?
You gotta get
No.
off of that
Definitely
Russian
don't listen
disinformation,
to your propaganda, eh? You got propaganda, bro. Fucking piece of shit, man. Fucking dumbass.
Toronto man's in the house.
Get the fuck out of here. Go to a homeless shelter, you piece of bread.
Okay, we gotta break down what he's saying because every single thing that the man's from Toronto just said has full validity, and it's not Russian disinformation. It's all factual. Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party of Canada have implemented a tax on pollution. For those who don't know, in case you're watching this from a foreign country or for the first time or whatever it is, and you're not really aware what it is, they're taxing pollution, which means that if you're polluting, if you have a car or you buy food that gets distributed via car, likely not electric, right? It has to be fossil fuels. You're considered to be contributing to pollution. You're adding pollution into the ozone layers and is expediting climate change is the theory behind this. In order to give you an option to continue doing that, you can continue doing that, but you're going to pay more money and you're going to be able to afford less. And that's supposed to be a slap on the wrist and a big no-no to say, well, you know, life would be cheaper if you switch to electric, lithium batteries, lithium vehicles or electric vehicles and things like that. So that's the whole theory behind that. Now, what are they doing with that money? All of the billions of dollars that are coming in from this carbon tax, because they've taxed gas, home heating, and food, right? Because now the distribution process is interrupted with the carbon tax. So there are many, many things that are affected by a carbon tax. When you order something from online or whatever it is, and it gets delivered to you by car, that car, they had a calculation to figure out from the pickup location to the drop-off location, how much that would cost in fuel plus whatever profit margin. Now, fuel has gone up, so the price of distribution has gone up. And I mean, our materials have gone up here in Canada, so everything is just on the rise. And the question still remains, what the hell are you doing with the billions of dollars that you're getting from Canadians paying into this carbon tax climate action fund? And the government hasn't really given a solid answer. They say that they're doing carbon rebates, which means that we're all supposed to receive a few hundred or maybe even $1,000 a year in rebates for paying into this tax. But the rebates are less than what the tax are, or else it just statistically wouldn't make any sense to tax people and then pay them more of what they're being taxed. It doesn't make any sense. Like, let me borrow $5 and without you asking, I'll give you back $7. Like, that's, I don't know, man. That just seems a little weird. We're getting interest on our investment of tax. So no one's buying that for a second. Secondly, Ukraine. This is not consensual. And all 338 members of parliament, conservatives, Green Party, NDP, liberals, they all are on board with funding the war in Ukraine when Ukraine is not a part of NATO. If they were a part of NATO, that would be different. So we don't have any like fiduciary obligations with Ukraine, and it was never voted on. Canadians don't have a say. We don't get a say at all in how our taxes are spent individually or collectively. So the government has now positioned themselves or shown to Canadians that they don't work for us. We work for the government. We work for the politicians because they get to choose everything that our money is spent on. And that's not how government works. That's not a democracy. That's communism. And that's why so many people are pissed off. So what he said is very valid. And Justin Trudeau tries to gaslight people and say, no, you're listening to Russian disinformation. Dude, you just had a Nazi in parliament. And then the government's goal was to tell the world that that was Russian disinformation. You had a literal Nazi up in the viewing gallery and everybody clapped and your House Speaker resigned. It's pathetic, and they're reaching at straws. And it's so annoying, but I'd love to know what not the question. I'd like to ask a question. I'd love to know what your answer is. How does this make you feel? How does it make you feel that Justin Trudeau gets confronted by pissed off people? Obviously, that makes me feel really great. But how does it make you feel that he answers in such a gaslighting, denial way? Because for me, that really pisses me off. And without further ado, let's get into this pretty heated debate between Pierre and Justin Trudeau in the House of Commons.
8 years of excuses and inflationary debt and taxes, food prices and mortgage prices are raging out of control. In fact, mortgage payments are up 150%. When the government borrows money, competes with Canadians for their mortgage rates, it drives up the cost of lending. So will the Prime Minister tell Canadians how much will his government borrow this year? How much?
On the one hand, Conservatives continue to call for cuts to spending and cuts to supports for Canadians, but at the same time, they say there's not enough access to housing. And they put forward a plan, a private member's bill, to tackle the problem of housing affordability. The problem is it won't build homes fast enough, it doesn't reach enough cities, and it creates unnecessary bureaucracy, Mr. Speaker, while cutting the accelerator fund and ripping up our agreements to build more homes with cities like London and others across the country. On this side, we're actually linking public transit dollars to housing density, working with cities to ensure their housing proposals are ambitious, and addressing the bureaucracies.
The question was how much?
How much? It's a simple question.
Borrows billions of dollars out of the economy, it bids up interest rates. Those interest rates have already ballooned faster under this Prime Minister than under any other in monetary history. So once again, how much, and how much will this government borrow from the economy this year? Just the number, please.
While the Leader of the Opposition continues to talk down Canadians and talk down the Canadian economy, we're going to continue to put Canada's strong fiscal position in service of Canadians. Yes, Mr. Speaker, our strong fiscal position. We have the lowest deficit in the G7. We have the best debt to GDP ratio in the G7. And we're one of the 3 largest countries in the world with a AAA credit rating from the bond agencies. Mr. Speaker, we have been there for Canadians, and we have been responsible stewards of the public purse, and that means we will continue to be able to support Canadians through these difficult times, including with the measures we have right now.
A lot of people get very angry at the fact that Justin Trudeau is incapable of answering these questions. And don't get me wrong, it also very much angers me. But the more that happens, the more exposure, the more opportunities that we have collectively to give this more exposure, to show people, normies, for lack of better words, who aren't really that into politics, hey, this is the guy that you keep voting for. This is the guy that your family or friends are voting for. He's unable to answer a simple question. How does this make you feel? Just easing people in with politician versus politician instead of, crazy videos of, heckling. I know I included that in this video, but crazy other videos of conspiracy theories or Justin Trudeau having a secret love affair. Like, those videos are a little bit more on the spectrum, even though it's videos that I've made. But this is very, very kind of PG friendly stuff. It's our politicians versus our politicians. You can't go wrong with this. And somehow Justin Trudeau is just incapable of answering the Leader of the Opposition's question, which is supposed to be a notorious job title in Parliament. So it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. And the more people that see this, the more people that could just wake up and be like, yeah, man, this just isn't making sense, and we got to do something about it.
The bond agencies he brags about were the same ones who were charged because they falsely claimed the subprime crisis would never happen in the United States of America. Canadian households, after 8 years of this Prime Minister, are more indebted than any other country in the entire G7. And interest rates have gone up faster than at any time in monetary history after 8 years of this Prime Minister. All of this is driven by his massive addiction to borrowing. So the average barber or waitress knows how much they borrow. Does the Prime Minister, who's the head of a $500 billion government, even know how much he's borrowing out of the country this year?
We see once again the Leader of the Opposition's tried and true tactics of attacking the facts when they don't suit his purposes. Mr. Speaker, the international bond rating agencies like Moody's and S&P that have ranked the top economies as AAA economies, the United States, Germany, and then Canada in the world's largest economies, have said that our fiscal plan is sustainable. As we are there to support Canadians, as we demonstrate fiscal prudence, as we support Canadians through this difficult time. Now, he can wage war on experts and the facts and demonize them all he likes, but we will keep being there for Canadians grounded in the facts.
He won't even tell us the facts.
That's right.
Because he doesn't even know the facts. This is a man who is going to borrow $421 billion this year. If the government bought 421 billion apples, the price of apples would go up. When they borrow $421 billion, the price of debt goes up in higher interest rates. That's why Canadians are paying 150% more on their mortgages. How much will this government force Canadians to spend on national debt interest this year?
Hear, hear.
And he, of course, was not able to answer. And that's what I really love about Pierre, is he's just so good with words and so good on the fly in these types of situations and debates, and really just is able to show that the opposition, or sorry, he is the opposition. I'm already prepared for conservative government, apparently. That the opposition to him, so the Liberal government, Liberals and NDP, are incapable of answering simple questions, and they use deflection tactics all the time. And it is frustrating. But this is a game of stamina. Who's going to get burnt out first? Will it be the Liberals and the corrupt politicians, or will it be you and I? Because I don't plan on getting burnt out anytime soon. That's where I'm going to end today's video. Love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Any questions, comments, or concerns about any topics I covered. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe if you haven't yet already. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.